Thank you for joining the webinar. I am Jason Stone, working for Fasoo as a principal consultant, helping organizations to implement ideal data management strategies and data security framework. As you can see, or as you can guess from the title, the purpose of this webinar is to share accumulated knowledge and know-how of organizations who have worked with the Fasoo over the last 3 quarters. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, lots of things have changed. One of the most significant change caused by COVID-19 is the way many of us work. Those fortunate enough were able to work from home and have been able to adapt to this new reality with various technologies in place. However, those who were not so lucky are still struggling to adapt to this new normal environment. Perhaps the biggest question for organization is whether to work from home has led to a decrease in productivity and an increase in security. It is certainly a tough question to answer, but we could all agree that this type of pandemic situation will happen again. And we need to redesign and empower our business process as well as the security architecture to overcome these issues. With that said, let us move on to the presentation. Okay, let us begin with what we missed the most. As briefly mentioned in the previous slide, the COVID-19 has enforced us to change the way we work and even led to lockdown situation occasionally. Over the pandemic period, we were limited to have in-person meetings and unable to attend conferences. Did you ever feel frustrated? Most of you would probably say no at the beginning, not knowing the pandemic would last this long. But I would say after 9 months, most people are extremely tired and miss the working environment and lifestyle that we are used to. How about a system access? When we are working from offices using the company network, it was much easier to access documents on company PC and database or enterprise applications running on the company servers. But due to the pandemic, we had to change ourselves. So what did we try? Just like what we are doing now, we have implemented and extended the usage of video or audio conferencing tools to accommodate digital contact requirements. And there have been tremendous increase in using solutions like virtual private network, remote access, cloud, and virtual desktop infrastructures to improve document or system access. Well, using conferencing tools and remote system access is not new to the organization, but they were adopted as out-of-norm scenario, and current business process and security architecture were not designed to satisfy pandemic-like situations. One of a good example would be data security. We are doing a relatively good job in terms of securing or containing intellectual property or personally identifiable data when they reside inside protected confines of repository or company devices. But due to the pandemic crisis, boundaries of company networks or perimeter has blurred, and it has become almost impossible to protect or manage sensitive data using conventional security solutions. This slide shows a summary of the findings from the IT and security consulting engagement we have conducted during the pandemic time span. Many of our customers believe COVID-19 pandemic-like situation is no longer out of the norm, and they want to build resiliency and at the same time assuring productivity and security. So we have learned that redesigning business process is critical to their business operation. Some of us have already initiated digitalization projects that we are bringing in more business application systems and trying to improve knowledge sharing and communications using the next generation collaboration platform. There have been also efforts to virtualize computing resources to make IT resources available at any time and anywhere. Yet, there are still many challenges, and information security is one of the most challenging tests for many organizations that many of us are seeking to redesign security architecture. Okay, let us review the business process. As you can see from the graph, there are fairly simple and repeatable business processes, and they are handled by application systems, and few of them are automated. Also, there are somewhat complex business processes, and we are using communication tools like email, messengers, or audio, or video conferencing, and leveraging documents. And in between repeatable and complex processes, we are using content collaboration platforms like knowledge management or enterprise content management solutions that we could manage information more efficiently. So using communication solutions, content collaboration and data security are certainly not new to everyone here. They have been with us quite some time, and we are actually using them as we speak. But why do I bring this up again? Perhaps we should understand how they are influencing us through this pandemic crisis. In the past, organizations did not recognize them as an integrated solution, so each solution was siloed. Having siloed solutions can create various challenges. One of the most challenging issues can be management overhead issues. Using multiple solutions can mean fragmented data everywhere. Throughout the series of communication or collaborations, multiple versions of documents and its copies can be stored on various devices and servers, and more data means more investment for managing those data, and even more ground to cover in terms of compliance and security. Also, each solution has its own security features and functions that it is pretty difficult to carry out a consistent security policy. On top of it, scattered data could certainly increase the threat surface that could lead to a potential data breach or compliance issues. So without a question, a next generation enterprise content platform should be simplified so that each knowledge worker does not have to worry about where to find the data and access permissions associated with the data. Perhaps if you can collaborate based on a work group and consolidate all communication capability into a single solution can definitely benefit organization. Also, rather than continuously attaching multiple versions of documents to a various communication tools or storage, if you can enable version control anywhere and anytime and access the latest version, then organization will reduce redundant, obsolete, and trivial data significantly, which will lead into much better environment in terms of knowledge sharing and security. In addition, the collaboration platform should able to offer visualization of how work groups are communicating, such as who has actually read, revised, or commented onto a document, when, where, even on which devices. As briefly mentioned in the previous slide, most knowledge workers are using servers and desktop PC, and few of them are also using servers in a cloud environment. For special occasions, organizations have also implemented solutions like remote access and virtual private network. To extend the remote access capabilities, some of us also deploy solutions like virtual desktop infrastructure. But such solutions are not adequate or versatile enough to encounter pandemic-like situation where every single user may have to use such solutions. And solutions like VDI can create management issues, and they can be very, very expensive at some time. So we have recently introduced a concept of virtualizing content instead of virtualizing every computing resources. let us look at why a virtual content infrastructure is must-have solution from a slightly different angle. Knowledge workers often looking for information while they are working, and that information is in forms of electronic document in most cases. Those documents are stored and saved in various locations like PC, email, file servers, or even ECM, and moving around storages and trying to locate that information can be a very time-consuming process. So we have tried to adopt enterprise solutions like global search application and unified storage solutions to make things a little bit better, but it is still challenging to find the right information. As you can see from the slide, you sort of have to rely on the file naming conventions, and you will see few files are saying final, really final, or really, really final. Well, in that case, you just pick up your phone and call the person who would know which one is the right content. This is the easiest way. But during the pandemic crisis, it's not so easy to do that. So let us get back to the content virtualization again. The content virtualization is basically isolating content from the physical storage. By isolating content from the physical location, you can expect dramatic improvement in reducing redundant or trivial data generation. Also, content virtualization will allow users to execute version control everywhere. So version control and management is certainly not a new technology and has been around us for the last 30 years, I guess, but the functionality is only enabled at a certain location that check-in or check-out of documents are only working within ECM servers, meaning derivative or copies of documents are consistently or constantly created and causing management and security issues. Similar stories for content synchronization solution. You may have used cloud storage solutions like Dropbox or OneDrive, and these solutions will provide content sync functionalities. But the content must be stored at a specific folder location. If you email or send it through a instant messenger, then forget about the content synchronization. We have also learned that without virtualizing content, virtual drive or folder is meaningless, that it would end up as another ECM creating the same problems. Now, let us review about the benefits of content virtualization. First of all, the technology can simplify the search process for knowledge workers and enhance their productivity. They can easily identify the latest version, and all information associated with the data can be presented at any time and anywhere. The content virtualization will also help reduce redundant files. When you are communicating through email or messenger or other collaboration tools, you do not have to attach or share different versions since they are virtualized, meaning less files, less copies, less storage issues, and less management issues. Using the content virtualization, the cost of storage can be reduced by dramatically reducing copies and versions of files. Well, the storage itself is not so expensive these days, but more data means more cost for managing those data in terms of governance and security. So content virtualization technology can improve the productivity of knowledge workers, reduce unnecessary data, provide an efficient working environment by maximizing the availability of information. All of this and more features of virtual content infrastructure is ideal for remote working environment. Here are some of our customers' testimonials using the content virtualization technology. So they are happy that all users are free to access and work and store content anywhere, and they no longer have to waste time looking for information. These are the two major improvements they have learned using the technology. Up to this point, if you are a CISO, security personnel, or enterprise If you look closely, organizations use the systems on the cloud and the PC at home that they do not own. But the organizations still own the data on the cloud or at home. So the focus of enterprise security should be shifted from the network or systems to data itself. Since the organizations are responsible for those data and have not much control over the network or system outside of their organization. So to prepare for a pandemic-like situation, you should consider to launch these data security initiatives. First, identify and locate sensitive data and encrypt them. Number two, share and circulate sensitive data as encrypted and add screen watermark on the display or print watermark on printout, which includes sensitive information. Number three, enable the in-use control of highly sensitive data, meaning not just the simple encryption, but control access privileges like view, edit, print, or capture capability. Number four, collect usage log of sensitive data and identify who is using such information, when and where. The last, analyze the usage of sensitive data periodically and define anomaly patterns. All these meaningful initiatives will help organizations to build resiliency and not only survive, but thrive through pandemic-like scenarios. So consider implementing a next generation collaboration platform and virtual content infrastructure, and review data-centric security initiatives. This is a diagram from Gartner saying that organizations should integrate and automate customers' ecosystem, things, IoT, and IT systems using intelligence. So prepare for the next. Redesign your security architecture that are suitable for your digital transformation and implement forward-looking security strategies. My last word for the presentation is accelerate digital transformation and read through COVID-19. Thank you for joining the webinar.